You're welcome. Tamara is with us. We have a few moments left before we have to say goodbye. Tamara and Farahana, I'll try to get to all of you as fast as I can. Maybe we'll go over by a minute or two. Tamara, how may I serve you?
Hello, Neil. Nice to see you again. I'll get right to the point. I'll try to be fast. Lately, I'm feeling really overwhelmed by emotions, and it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm sad or that those are negative emotions. I just feel like I have so much love, but I seem to not be able to give it away. I mean, romantic love. I mean, of course, I know you'll tell me I can share it everywhere with my family, with my friends, with every person on the street, and I try to do that, but I still feel so overwhelmed with love.
That's good. I'm glad it's good to feel overwhelmed with love. Simply allow it to flow through you in whatever way feels appropriate to the moment, and allow more and more of it to flow through you in whatever way feels appropriate to the moment, and allow yourself to feel overwhelmed. You wouldn't want to feel underwhelmed, so let yourself feel overwhelmed. There's just not enough, I used to say, not enough time to love everything that I want to love. I want to love everything. Honestly, I love the tree outside my house. I'm not kidding, I really do. I can see it now out the window. I love the tree outside my house. And I've been known, you're going to laugh at this, but I've been known to go out and put my both hands on that tree and just kind of tell it in my head, you're so beautiful. You've been here for so many years. Long before I was here, you were here. Long before I was here, you were here. This tree is at least 100 years old. God bless you for the joy and the beauty you've brought into so many lives by just being this beautiful tree. So I love the tree. I love my dogs. You don't want to see me with my dogs because it's embarrassing. I mean, I squeeze them, I hug them, I love them. I can't get enough. And, and of course, I love my wife and I love all people. But I can't get enough of it. And that's exactly how I want to feel. I want to feel overwhelmed, but not in a way that makes me feel somehow bad, but in a way that makes me celebrate. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I get to get up tomorrow and love even more things. I get to love chocolate again. I get to love the food I'm eating, and I get to love doing this. Do you know how much I love doing what I'm doing right now? I can't get enough of it. So be overwhelmed by love. Wow, what a great book. What a great title for your book. Be overwhelmed by love. I expect you to finish it by the fall and send it to me. How old are you, my dear? How old are you?
I'm 20.
Yeah, I thought you're a relatively young person. I'm a relatively old person. You have 50 more years, maybe more, but probably a half century ahead of you. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I wish I had a half century ahead of me left. I wish I knew then what I know now. But you know what's beautiful about you? It's then for you. It's then for you. And you know it now. You know what you know. And not only do you know what you know that you know what you know. Wow. What a life you're going to have. Just get out there and give all the love you can possibly give in whatever way feels appropriate to the moment. And you'll put your head back on the pillow at night and you'll say, yes, that's who I am.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Farahana, how may we serve you? Is your
Yes. Thank you.
Oh, ouch, ouch, ouch.
Can you mute yours?
Oh yeah, hold on.
Oh, okay, sorry about that. So what I wanted to ask is, in your years of experience with love, have you ever realized or noticed that you were perhaps not allowing yourself to experience love because of certain conditions that were put upon you, or certain ways that you might have been raised, or the
answer to your question is no.
You can't love this person because maybe of their race or their gender or their ethnicity, or and did you ever experience any challenges where you realized like, oh wow, I wasn't showing up with complete love the way I can just because of this level of conditioning, and then you were challenged to express yourself and experience it, and then just like the caller said, you were overwhelmed by love because over the last year, especially, or over the last 5 years, I would say, I have been challenged and invited to love people who I didn't even realize I was conditioned to, like, you can't love that person, or that would not be appropriate. And so I was just wondering if that was something that you've experienced yourself, and
No.
what did that look like for you? And
the answer is no. I've never experienced that. I've always allowed myself to love completely, with abandon. Honey, that's why I was married 6 times before I met my wife. You know, you're asking the wrong person that particular question. If I had that problem, I never would have married 6 women. So I mean, I was, whenever I was in a relationship, at least one thing could not be said about me. Nobody could call me an emotionally unavailable male. I was ready to love full out, completely, right down to putting a ring on their finger, right down to making, you know, a lifelong commitment. Now, does that mean that I never failed to love in a way that could have been more joyously received by the other? No, that does not mean that. I failed in my demonstration of love many times, obviously, or I wouldn't have had 6 failed marriages. But did I ever have the experience of not loving full out and being restricted or feeling limited in my ability to want to give? No, I've never had that. Never had that experience. I can't say that I've had that experience. I love loving. That's why I've been married 7 times. I love loving, and I don't care what I have to lose. But I have learned, honestly, to be, thank you very much, a little more careful about the other, a lot more careful about the other. And I'm no longer willing to love in a way which hurts someone else. So I've learned to listen. I've learned to listen. Sometimes you have to listen to a 9-year-old.
yeah, that's true. And the reason why I was asking is because I've considered, I mean, I've always seen myself as a heterosexual, and you know, there was no doubt in my mind, like, even if I were to pay a compliment to a perfect stranger, a woman, I'd be like, by the way, I'm straight, I'm not hitting on you. And I never really understood the deep implications of why I was doing that until last year, when I walked into a restaurant and I saw a woman who was working there, and I was completely blown away by her presence and her beauty. And it was really hard for me because I was experiencing things that I've never experienced. And there was a lot of judgment, a lot of self-doubt, a lot of guilt, because I was in and out of relationships with a relationship with Jeff. We were trying to work things out, and to even have that conversation with him about the fact that I met a woman, she was working at a restaurant, and I was just blown away. And the attraction that I felt towards her is something that I never felt. And I just felt a lot of shame and guilt for that. But I know that it was an invitation for me to just maybe something that I was holding back in terms of, like, I hate to say judgment, but almost like, and I hate to use the word weird. And so for people who aren't heterosexual, who are in relationships, even on this call with another woman, I really don't mean to offend, but it's just something I never understood. But when I had that experience last year, I was overwhelmed with my capacity to allow myself to love in that moment, that woman. And it's a chapter in my book called A Beautiful Stranger. And I just felt so grateful for her, for showing up in my life and allowing me to experience love for a woman in a completely different way in that moment. And maybe it doesn't need to mean anything or anything, but I was just really grateful because I recognized then immediately that that was something I was holding something. Like that's fine if, whichever partner you choose. And I like to think that I was always fine with it. But when I experienced it personally myself, it was really hard. It was really hard because, like I said, I was showing up in another way with my relationship with Jeff, and I just didn't understand why I was feeling these feelings towards a woman, and like to question your sexuality at like 40 plus, you just feel like you don't even know who you are. But I knew in that moment it wasn't even about that. It was just about allowing yourself to just love. And I was overwhelmed, just like the previous caller said. And you were like, I was overwhelmed, and I haven't with my capacity to continue to love where I've had perhaps underlying judgment, which I never realized. So
thank you for telling me your story. Interesting story, and thank you for putting it in the book. And of course, all of us, I would imagine, who have any kind of life experience at all, have certainly had occasions when we've experienced something very similar. I've had huge love for several men in my life. Would I have expressed it in a physical way? Probably not. Not that it was wrong or anything bad about it. It simply wasn't my inclination to do that. But did I love them deeply as I've loved any woman in my life? You bet your life. You bet your life. Ben Wills, I know you're not alive anymore, you're gone, but I loved you that way. Roland Chambers, you're not here anymore, but I loved you that way. Tom Bull, you're not here anymore, I loved you that way. Completely. And I didn't express it with them in a physical way, but it's simply true that our capacity to love other sentient beings is unlimited. And we only choose to limit or to express our love in particular ways at particular times with particular people. Just as we choose this slipcover rather than that slipcover for the couch, or this ingredient or rather than that ingredient for the dinner. And so it's just a matter of personal inclination. But yeah, I hear you, and I thank you for sharing your experience and I'm glad you put it in the book, because it allows people to feel free to love freely, free to love freely. Wow, I got to write a book one day called Free to Love Freely. Rosa is here. Rosa, is there some way that I could be of service to you? We're a little over our time. We were supposed to end at 1:30, but let's see if I can get my last two callers in, and then we'll bring this to a close. Rosa, tell me what's
Hello?
up. Hi, Rosa. Tell me everything.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Rosa, or else who am I saying hi to?
Oh, okay. Oh, this is Rosa, yes. I just want to let you know that I love you, and I have listened to every one of your books, and they have changed my life. But the question that I have for you is, can one be taken advantage of by another?
No. You can think that you are being taken advantage of by another, but you can't be taken advantage of by another. Nobody does anything they don't want to do. Conversations with God, book 1. Nobody does anything they don't want to do. But after we do what we want to do for perfectly good reasons that make total sense in our mind, then after we do what we want to do, we allow ourselves sometimes to think that we didn't want to do it, or that someone has taken advantage of us. But such a thing would be impossible. Even if a person has a gun, I want to make a dramatic example. Forgive me for being too dramatic, but even if a person has a gun to our head and says, "Eat that spaghetti or I'll kill you," and you go ahead and eat the spaghetti even though you don't want to, or you do something that you think you don't want to do, but you did want to do it because the alternative to not doing it is something you less preferred. You preferred that even less. You don't want to lose their friendship, or you don't want to lose their love, or you don't want to lose their companionship, or you don't want to lose your life. Whatever it is you don't want to lose, you do something in order to not lose it. And then you say, I had no choice. Well, Neil, I had no choice. I had no choice. But this is all discussed in book 1. In Conversations with God, book 1, God said to me, no, Neil, you always have a choice. But what you do is you deny the benefit you received from making the choice you made. Therefore, you say you had no choice. And in that moment, you give up your sovereignty and allow yourself to imagine that you can be taken advantage of. But no spiritual master ever would say that. No spiritual master would ever even imagine that they could be taken advantage of, because they would realize every choice I've made served me, or I wouldn't have made it. Thanks, Rosa, for the question. The answer.
And the reason I asked the question.
I don't need to know the reason.
Thank you. And
I don't need to know the reason.
The reason I asked okay, all right.
I don't need to know the reason.
But you did answer my question, and I appreciate it.
Good, great. I'm glad.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Catherine is our last caller. Catherine, how may I serve you? Hi, Catherine. How may I be of service to you? Oh, maybe Catherine is not our last caller. I thought I had a person named Catherine. Oh, there's Catherine. Catherine, I cannot hear you for some reason. I'm seeing you on my screen, but I'm not hearing you. So maybe try it again. Try it again, Catherine. Of course, now you're not saying anything, so I can't. Well,
you could unplug, use your computer's microphone. Maybe your headset's not.
I did hear you just a bit there, Catherine.
Now?
Yes, I hear you perfectly.
Okay, I took my headphones off. That's
good.
That was the problem. I want to tell you that I did the quest of the Awaken the Species last autumn.
Yes.
During the first confinement. And what I did the master class, and when I listened to you, it just came so strong inside myself. I had to do the quest. And I knew that probably it would have a lot of, in French, it's affect all the people around me, all my relationship. I knew all that, and I did it anyway, you know. And it gave the outcomes that I had to leave my ex-lover because
with great respect, may I ask you, Catherine, my dear friend, is there a question you'd like to explore or ask me, or did you just want to get into your story?
Okay. Okay. I actually don't have a question.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to tell you that I'm back from. I left for 5 months and I'm back with my lover, and everything is going beautifully. And we're gonna get married, marriage like he talked yesterday. He just got divorced from his second divorce last week. So we've been 12 years together, and we left each other so many times, but now it's forever.
Unless it's not.
It's forever for today. Yes.
Okay, good. Nice going, Catherine. Wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you for telling me that.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, guys, I've really enjoyed being with you. This has been a real stitch. I've enjoyed it from first to last. We do this this kind of a program every month. Check your email. It's not always on the subject of relationship, but you know, it's already the same stuff when you come down to it. So we'll do another one of these day and a half programs next month. And you can talk about anything really. We can discuss anything you want to discuss. We also do this on Monday nights, as I mentioned several times, for our Monday night video visit. So check your resource page and you'll find out there how to join us on Monday nights. Hey, thanks for being with us here. I hope it has served you and been as much fun for you as it's been for me. Here to say goodbye in her own special way is Kathy with a closing moment.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, everybody. See you next time. I hope you never lose your sense of wonder. Get your fill to eat, but always keep that hunger. May you never take one single breath for granted. God forbid love ever leave you empty-handed. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you never fear those mountains in the distance. Never settle for the path of least resistance. Living might mean taking chances, they're worth taking. Loving might be a mistake, but it's worth making. And don't let a broken heart leave you bitter. When you come close to selling out, reconsider. Give the heavens above more than just a passing glance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, what are you gonna do?